Hey YouTube, this is a video response to my good friend ebomey and jr10 Desert Gold. Um, there was a question about reloading and specifically crimping handgun ammunition. And I don't know, I don't appreciate putting it out there like this. I think you should just put out the correct information right off the bat so that nobody gets hurt or experiences any kind of bad experience shooting. There's not a mystery. If you read the book, this is the Lyman book. I have a whole bunch of them. I have the Lee book and I have the Hornady book, and I have another one, ABCs of Reloading. The Hornady book doesn't cover it very well. It doesn't explain it very well. It explains how to reload pretty well. But I'll read this for you verbatim. Step 12, this is page 41, bullet seating and crimping. You skip right to the caution here. When loading rimless case ammo for a semi-automatic handgun, such cartridges headspace from the case mouth. Never roll crimp your case. Doing so may dangerously shorten the case headspace dimension. For such ammo, always use a taper crimp. Taper crimping dies are standard as some die sets or may be purchased as an accessory. For revolvers, using a rimmed case, like 38 Special 3-7, roll crimping is required to keep bullets from creeping out of the case during recoil. All rimmed handgun ammo to be used in tubular magazines should also be roll crimped to prevent bullets from being driven deeper into the case during recoil. Only flat or blunt nose bullets should be used in tubular magazines. So there's a whole section about the caution about these crimping these loads, and that is the reason you don't want the bullet to move. Now I've prepared a little demonstration here. See if I can get this to work properly with one hand here. This is a Smith & Wesson Model 63, or excuse me, 65 revolver, and this is a dummy round. As you can see, it's got a spent primer, and the bullet is just sitting here. Now, what happens is, if you don't crimp this, see if I can get this, I need both hands here. Okay, I just cut right there for a minute because I needed both hands. What happens is, this bullet, this is just a round nose bullet that I think somebody cast for me or something. I don't remember the nomenclature on it, but with the recoil of this firearm, especially firing 357 Magnum loads, Newton's first law, second law, is an object at rest will tend to stay at rest. So what happens is the bullet has some mass, and as the gun recoils back, the bullet, because of Newton's law, wants to stay where it is. So this has actually happened to me. This can stretch out, and you have a situation where the bullet looks like this. The situation, as he was describing, the book described, in a tubular rifle magazine is just the opposite, where the bullet gets pushed down into the case, which is dangerous also because you can compress the charge and so forth. And then you also have chambering problem because that rifle chambers. So if you push the bullet in, this rim here can get caught in the chamber of the rifle. Or if you're shooting in a semi-automatic handgun like a Kunin or something, you'll have the same issue. This can catch if it's not crimped properly. So what goes on is you have this round chambered in a revolver, like so, and it won't chamber because it's actually too long for the gun. But what happens is it sticks out the end a little bit. So if you put it in the gun, let's say, you won't even make it past the crane in this instance, which is just as what happens is you're shooting, and then boom, the revolver locks up. Now, if it locks up with the bullet in this position, which would be the next one to fire in a double action mode, it can't get past the forcing cone. And then you have a situation where you can't even open the cylinder to get the round out. So you're supposed to take it to a gunsmith safely, because this is still a live round, and they have to tap this round down very carefully to get it past the forcing cone to open up the cylinder. So that is why you crimp revolver rounds. And same thing happens with the semi-automatic. You don't want these bullets to be able to move in and out. It's not, the action is not as pronounced in a semi-automatic, at least most of them. But it's the same thing. You want to put a roll crimp on there because you don't want that bullet to move. You don't want it to get forced into the cartridge because then this lip may hang up on the chamber. And obviously, when it's in the magazine, it doesn't have any place to go. But usually, you don't want it to move out either. So that's why we crimp handgun ammunition. I think the only stuff that you don't have to crimp is rifle rounds, but that's an entirely different question. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope everything that I put out was correct. If I did say something that was incorrect, please school me in the comments. You won't hurt my feelings. And that's it. I'm out.